Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear students, thank you for joining today. Today our topic is democracy and outcomes of democracy. Before discussing today's topic, can anybody tell me what is democracy?
Democracy is a form of government in which power lies in the hands of people, and in democracy, people enjoy their rights and perform their duties.
Anyone more?
In democracy, there is one vote, one person, one value, politically correct.
Good. As Nurul Huda has very beautifully stated that democracy is a form of government in which power lies in the hands of people. Okay, now let's discuss in detail what actually democracy is and what are the outcomes of democracy. Dear students, democracy is a form of government in which people elect their representatives and these representatives perform functions for the welfare of the people. That's why democracy is also called as representative form of government. Dear students, from the derivative point of view, the word democracy is derived from two Greek words, demos and kratia. Demos means people and kratia means rule. So, democracy means rule of the people. Now, so far as the outcomes of democracy is concerned, let's first understand what are outcomes. Outcomes means the results, the inputs, the outputs, and the consequences of democracy. Dear students, let's discuss it in detail. Dear students, in democracy, power lies in the hands of people. By enjoying right to vote, which is a political right. Let me give an example of India, 1951-52. First election after independence, the first election was held in 1951 and 52, in which the people elected their representatives by casting their vote. But my dear students, during 1951-52, the voting age was 21 years. So everyone who attains the age of 21 years, irrespective of their social differences, can cast right to vote. Later in 1989, by 61 one amendment, the voting age has been reduced from 21 years to 18 years. Presently, any person who attains the age of 18 years, irrespective of caste, color, gender, and religion, can cast their right to vote. Dear students, in democracy, elections are held regularly. In democracy, after every 5 years, elections are held regularly. First election in India, let me give an example of India in US. In US, every 4 years, elections are held. In India, after every 5 years, elections are held. After 5 years, elections are held, and we elect our new representatives, and those representatives make policies for the welfare of the people. Dear students, in democracy, there is one vote, one person, and one value. When we are talking about the one person, one vote, and one value, it means that in democracy it guarantees political equality. My dear students, in democracy, when we are talking about the outcomes of democracy, in democracy there is best sharing of power. When we are talking about the best shares of democracy, there is best sharing of power. At different levels of government and at different organs of government. When we are talking about the different levels of government, no doubt, in America, there is also the sharing of power between the different levels of government and between the different organs of government. In India, India is as a democratic country, we share power between the different levels of government and between the different organs of government. So far as between the different levels of government, in India, the power is shared between different levels of government. The levels of government are, that is central level, state level, and local level. When we share power between the different levels of government, it means there is the expansion of democracy. Expansion of democracy means that we are trying to we are trying to divide power between the federalism, between the federation and its constituent units, between the center and its constituent units. And when we are talking about the different organs of government are, that is legislature, executive and judiciary. When the power is distributed between the legislature, executive and judiciary, it means that there is the deepening of democracy. We are trying to strengthen the organs of the government. By strengthening the organs of government, we are ensuring the checks and balances. When we are ensuring the checks and balances, it means there is accountability, there is transparency, and there is legitimacy. My dear students, in democracy, when we are talking about the democracy, in democracy, there we accommodate social diversities. Dear students, if we are talking about the India is a heterogeneous society. We have different castes, we have different religions, but it tries to negotiate, it tries to accommodate all the social diversities, all the social differences. It tries to accommodate, negotiate all these social differences by negotiations, by accommodations, by giving them the rights, by providing them the rights. For example, when we are talking about that how India is accommodating these social diversities, my dear students, in India, we have different castes. We give them the fundamental rights. For example, we have the minorities. We give them fundamental rights like right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural education rights of minorities, Article 29 and 30. Okay, we have scheduled castes. We give them reservations so far as the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes are concerned. My dear students, recently in 1989, we have passed a law so that for the upliftment of this section of society, that is the Atrocities Act of 1989. By this act, no occupy land of Dalits and Adivasis wrongfully. By this act, no further force or displacement. Dear students, that's why in democratic government we always try to accommodate social differences. That's why we always give them the reservations, rights, so that we can empower them, so that we cannot exclude them from the rest of the society. Dear students, when we are talking about the democracy and its outcomes, it is very mandatory for me that I should discuss here you that in democracy people enjoy rights and perform duties. Dear students, in democracy, you see that in our constitution, there is separately mentioned, that is part 3rd, article 14 to 32 of the Indian constitution. There is right to equality, there is right to freedom, there is right against exploitation, there is freedom, there is right against exploiting, to give freedom rights, right to religion, freedom rights to religion. There is also the right to constitutional remedies. So by giving these rights, the only motto is that everybody has guarantees. We should give them the rights so that they can live a dignified life, so that they can live a good life, so that in the society everybody could live a dignified and enjoy the rights and perform the. When we are talking about the democracy is an accountable, responsive and legitimate government. When we are talking about the accountability, how democracy is an accountable government? Dear students, when we are talking about the accountability, a democratic government develops mechanism for citizens to take part in decision making process. For this, free and fair elections, open debate on major policies, legislation, right to information, such rights are given to the citizens. When we are talking about the responsiveness, in democratic government is a responsive government. It is responsive towards the needs and expectations of the citizens. It takes care and make policies for the welfare of the citizens. When we are talking about the legitimate government, democratic government is a legitimate government. A democratic government is a legitimate government. It is elected by the people, and people wish to be ruled by the representatives elected by them. Dear students, once again, when we are talking about the in democratic government, we are accommodating the social diversities, because we always try to reduce the possibility of tension. In democracy, we evolve a mechanism to negotiate the differences by accommodation. In democracy, we expand democratic rights to minorities and weaker sections of the society. As already I have told you about the fundamental rights, that Article 14 to 18, right to equality, which guarantees all the sections of the society. Article 29, 30, which guarantees to the minorities, so far as the minority section of the society is concerned. Dear students, for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, for their upliftment, I have already talked about you that there is an Atrocities Act of 1989. For their upliftment, the provisions of this Act of 1989 is that occupy land of Dalits and Adivasis wrongfully. Second is no further forced displacement. In short, in nutshell, we can say in democracy, people enjoy rights and perform duties. In democracy, there is freedom of speech and expression. There is freedom of religion and thought. Okay, now dear students, now let's recap today's lecture. First of all, in the recapitulation, our first point is that democracy is a form of government in which people elect their representatives, and these representatives perform functions for the welfare of the people. See, power lies in the hands of people, because in democracy people cast their vote and elected their representatives, and these representatives perform functions for the welfare of the people. As Lincoln has very beautifully stated, that democracy is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Dear students, the third point which I want to discuss with you so far as the recapitulation of today's topic is concerned, that is, in democracy elections are held regularly. It depends upon different countries. In US, after every 4 years elections are held. In India, after every 5 years elections are held. Exactly. Dear students, in democracy there is one vote, one person and one value. That means in democracy there is political equality. Okay. Dear students, democracy is an accountable, responsible and legitimate government. It means that it is accountable, it is answerable to the people, because the people who cast the vote, that's why the leaders are responsible, the leaders are accountable to the people. When they make laws, they should take the people's aspirations, the people's needs into the consideration. Responsiveness means that they should take care of the people when they make and frame the policies. They should make laws for the welfare of the people. Legitimate means, when we are talking about the democracy, there is a procedure. First elections are held, then after elections the candidate who wins most of the votes is declared to be a winner. Then he can make the laws for the welfare of the people. Dear students, in democracy we accommodate social diversities. Diversity, it is the opposite form of homogeneity. India is a diverse country, but when we make our constitution, we take every section of society into consideration, and we provide rights to every sections of the society, so that no section of the society could be exploited by any agency, by any political party. My dear students, in democracy people enjoy rights and perform duties. Absolutely, it is right, because when we are talking about the Indian Constitution provide you rights. When we are talking about the right to equality, Article 14 to 18, Article 14 clearly says equality before law and equal protection of law, irrespective of caste, color, gender and religion. Article 15, abolition of discrimination on the basis of caste, color, gender and religion. Article 16, equality of opportunities in respect of employment. Article 17, abolition of untouchability. Article 17 gives abolition of titles. So in it is only and only enjoy rights and perform duties. My dear students, after recapitulation of today's lecture, anyone have a question, please stand up regarding today's topic, that is democracy and outcomes of democracy. You stand up. What's your question?
Sir, how democracy accommodates social diversity?
Okay, sit down, let me answer you. Dear students, let's take an example of India. India is a heterogeneous country. In India we have differences, social differences. Difference, it's not a problem. For example, we have different religions, different castes, different religion. This is not a problem. But the problem is when we overlap of one caste over the other. When we overlap of one religion over the other. जब भी overlapping होती है ना, तो उस overlapping से डिसइंटीग्रेशन क्रिएट होती है, उसे नेशन मेकिंग नहीं, नेशन ब्रेकिंग होती है। लेकिन जब हमने कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बनाया, तो हमने इस कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में, ताकि हर कोई सेक्शन ऑफ सोसाइटी फील करे कि आई एम द पार्ट ऑफ इंडिया, तो हमने राइट्स, हमने गारंटीज प्रोवाइड की टू द पीपल ऑफ इंडिया. For example, if we have one section of society that is minorities, we provide them rights. We provide them, for example, in fundamental rights, we have right to give rights to the minorities. That is Article 29 and 30. These rights gives them the protection, so that they could not feel that they are isolated. They are not the part of the political system. We give them the reservations. That's why this is the caste. In the religious matters, we introduce the word secularism in the preamble. We give them the fundamental rights, Article 25, 28, right to freedom of religion. Everyone has a right to practice, propagate and profess their religion. That's why in democracy we try to negotiate the things and try to accommodate all the sections of the society by giving them rights so that every section of the society can lead a dignified life. Any question, anyone? Okay.